qualifying day today. Looked like a really good and close day on Friday. Almost nothing to split between the top three teams really in terms of race pace. The ultra soft tyre wasn't giving the performance that we expected it to, or the performance difference between the ultra soft and then the soft. So there's a big gap in the compounds here this week. No super soft. We've got ultra soft, then a gap, then the soft, and then the medium. I would have expected a gap of over a second a lap really between the soft and the ultra soft, but in yesterday's cooler temperatures on Friday we saw nearly half that. I mean, just over half a second really, in terms of performance advantage when you put the ultra soft tyres on. And of course they don't last very long. This is a really abrasive track surface, a really hard track on tyres because there are some long, fast, medium to fast, long continuous corners that really put the front tyres through its paces. The wind was incredibly powerful yesterday and unpredictable, which was catching a lot of drivers out. I mean, all of this means that we're looking at potentially a really exciting race. And even qualifying today, I'm fascinated to see just how the strategic side plays out. Do people go for the ultra soft to qualifying Q2 on, which means they'll have to start the race on, or can they gamble? Can they gamble kind of giving up that half a second, 0.6 of a second performance advantage that the ultra soft gives you and can the top few cars get through Q2 on the soft tyre rather than the ultra soft, you know, to overcoming that performance difference that the tyre gives? Do they still have enough performance in the car to safely get through to Q3? Because if they can do that, that means they can start the race on something other than the ultra soft tyre. You know, start the race on the soft tyre, which will give them a much different and probably much more beneficial strategy for Sunday afternoon. It's going to be fascinating. You know, I'm intrigued by this, but ultimately I think it's going to be a really, really close day today in qualifying. Perhaps Mercedes have it just by a tiny amount in qualifying, but when it comes to tomorrow, when it comes to race day, I think it's too close to call for me at the moment, which is great. Right, off to work. Right, mega qualifying today. Absolutely loved it. It was freezing cold at the circuit, and that really affected tyre temperatures, and the whole thing just went well away from Mercedes, and Ferrari were all over them. But what it has done is set up a mega race tomorrow. We'll talk more a bit later, but right now, got to go for dinner. Pretty sure that this was the table that my wife and I first sat at like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when we first had our very first ever date. We met here in Shanghai all those years ago, and I reckon that right there was where we sat, because we overlooked this balcony. I'm pretty sure that was it. So Claire, if you're watching, I think I got it right. I miss you, darling. I love you. Can't wait to see you on Monday. That was it. Brings back special memories, guys. Today was great. I absolutely loved it. Tonight was good as well. Had a great evening out in Shanghai, down by the River Bund, which was amazing. Went to the restaurant, in fact, where I first had my very first ever date with my wife. So that brought back some great memories. But anyway, let's talk F1. today was really good. I thought it was a great day for F1 because the temperatures were so low, and whilst it was freezing cold at the circuit for us working there, it really affected the performance of the cars. And you know what it really did was change the way, more than anybody else, the way the Mercedes kind of affected or worked their ultra soft tyres. So the ultra soft tyre, the softest tyre in the range that Pirelli has brought to the circuit, has a low working temperature range, so it works best in cold temperatures, let's put it that way, of all the tyres they've brought. However, that Mercedes car doesn't work that tyre, the softer tyre, the softest tyre, well enough to get the tyre switched on into the right temperature window. And that is their biggest problem this weekend. They've struggled to get that tyre working up to temperature and therefore delivering the grip they need. And so on the ultra soft tyre, the car's just not working. They cannot deliver the grip, they cannot deliver the lap time they need on the ultra soft tyre. So they knew that from Friday practice, they knew that from FP3 this morning. So going into qualifying, they already had a plan, which we kind of suspected would happen, that they would try and qualify on the soft tyre rather than the ultra soft that we thought everyone else would probably go for. Because of these super low temperatures and the specifics of this track, the ultra soft tyre didn't deliver the absolute maximum delta difference in lap time that we thought it might from the ultra soft to the soft. And that meant Mercedes could kind of get away, and Ferrari could kind of get away with qualifying on the soft tyre, still have enough performance advantage in their car over the midfield to be able to get through to Q3 and therefore start the race on that tyre, the soft tyre. So that's great for them. That opens up a number of different strategy options for the race for them. Whereas everybody around them, the Red Bulls and those beyond, who qualified on the ultra soft, obviously have to start the race on the ultra soft and are pretty much committed to a two-stroke strategy, because pretty early on they're going to have to ditch those ultra soft tyres that are not going to last too long into the race before switching on to the soft or the medium. What Mercedes and Ferrari have done, so the top four cars have given themselves the option of potentially stretching out a one-stop race. And even if they can't stretch out a one-stop race, they may be able to just avoid using the ultra soft at any point and use the soft and the medium to complete the race on, which those cars are performing, certainly Mercedes, performing best on at this track in these conditions. However, tomorrow, Sunday, race day, is looking like it's going to be a lot warmer than it was today, and that may well change things. These Pirelli tyres of the modern era of Formula 1 are so temperature dependent, and that's not just ambient temperature, that's about how the individual car works that tyre on the track, generates heat within that tyre to get it into the operating window to deliver the grip. If you don't get it into that window, it's like night and day. A tyre, like an ultra soft tyre within the right window, delivers incredible grip for a short period of time. If it's not in the temperature window that it needs to operate in, it delivers very little grip. And it's as simple as that. It's like a switch. And that is one of the big challenges that teams and drivers have in the modern era of Formula 1. Anyway, aside from all of that, what we've got is a grid that lines up with Ferrari heading up the front row, Mercedes behind. If Mercedes or Lewis Hamilton are going to win this race, they need to somehow either outrace those Ferraris or out-strategize them throughout the Grand Prix to be able to come out on top. But just behind those guys, on the ultra-soft tyre, are the Red Bulls of Daniel Ricciardo and of course Max Verstappen not far behind. So look, what we will get off the start, particularly in warmer temperatures, are the guys starting on ultra soft will have a start line advantage, i.e. a grippier tyre for the start of the race. So will we see cars launching off the line on the ultra soft tyre and leapfrogging some of those cars that are not on the ultra soft tyre because of that grip advantage that the ultra soft or the softer end of the range gives over the harder end of the range on that crucial point in the race, which is the start. When all the cars are bunched up on the grid, the biggest overtaking opportunity of any Grand Prix is the start and the first lap. Maybe the guys in the Ultrasoft could make that work to their advantage. We'll have to wait and see. Look, I'm really looking forward to this one. I cannot wait for it. I think there are, like we had last week, a number of different strategic opportunities for different teams and different cars and different drivers. And I cannot wait to see how that plays out. This is not by any means a foregone conclusion. Even the absolute experts, and I don't count myself in that, anybody who knows what they're talking about, the Martin Brundles of this world, the people who, even the teams, look, even the teams cannot 100% predict how this race is going to go, because temperature is an unknown, and because temperature is different to the way we practiced and the way we qualified, no one really knows how each tyre is going to perform in that particular temperature window. So we've got a great race on our hands, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it plays out. Really excited about this one.